So I wanted to share with you the experience I had in trying to troubleshoot this particular layer shift issue that I had on my Ender 3. I don't think this is specific to an Ender 3 though. This is a very general problem and the solution was very general. So to start with, this print was just fine. It's about a 25-hour print, and probably about 23 hours into it, I ended up with this layer shift. This shifting, as you can see, looks like everything is perfect except it's just skewed on the, I believe this is the x-axis, and you can see that everything else is normal about it. It's just actually shifted over. And so initially trying to troubleshoot this, there were a lot of suggestions about Ender 3 to make sure that the bed wasn't wiggling. I had to tighten down this particular, I think they call it a cam nut. Basically tighten that down to get rid of a little bit of play that I was seeing in the x-axis here, which I thought might have been contributing to a misalignment, and the head of the extruder would bash into the model as it was printing because of this slop in the bed. So I tightened that, reran it, and it experienced a similar type of shift. This time though, you can see it's actually same type of shift, but this is actually on the other axis. This is a y-axis shift, I believe. So again, I checked all my belts, checked to make sure everything was secure. My belts were tight up here. Went through a couple other YouTube videos, checked to make sure that the shaft that connects to where the pulley connects to the motor, making sure that Allen key was tight. I checked to make sure that the Z-axis didn't have any binding in it. You know, make sure that the Z-axis couldn't wiggle so much at the top here. Made sure that it would freely go up and down without any binding. And you know, just a general check there. I also checked the Cura software to make sure that maybe it wasn't a software issue, and I actually resliced it. And I went on to my third print, and the third print also had a layer shift. And so this is getting kind of frustrating, as you can imagine. You can see this one almost made it to the very end. I think it only had maybe 20 minutes left to go, and you can see that it started to shift. That one's a little bit harder to see. So finally, I set up to run again. This time I actually changed the color to a different spool. And this time around, as I was printing it, I heard a strange sound. And I made sure to be right next to it the whole time it was printing. So I went through several pauses of the print so that I could walk away and come back and listen to it. And I heard a funny sound. And what I saw was that as I was trying to pull the PLA off of the spool, this entire thing was bent over, and I could see that it was tugging really hard. And what I noticed was that this was actually tangled up here. And after looking on YouTube and understanding the symptoms of this and so forth, I realized that this is actually a kind of a newbie problem. When you're putting your spools away, sometimes this PLA will slip under one of the other rows on the spool, and effectively it'll cause it to get stuck as it's trying to pull it off. And so the solution to that is to rewind part of the spool. You can look for YouTube videos on that to learn how to do that. But I rewound it and was able to continue the print after I paused it right away after hearing that sound. I continued the print and no problems. It went through the entire way. So it was a painful debugging experience, but I thought that maybe somebody else could benefit from that. So good luck.